Hi there, this is Doris Pender from Library Arts, and I'm so glad you're here joining me today for this project. We're going to create a sort of beachy, pop art inspired frame, a picture frame where we're going to take the frame and go away from photos and create this really fun focal point using a sunrise, mixture of sand and shells and glue, and a little bit of pop inspired by the artist Roy Lichtenstein. So why don't we get started by going over the materials next. See you in a moment. Okay, let's go over the materials in your project today. You're going to have this very simple wooden frame with a heart cut out, and if you flip it over, you may see that you have a couple of these heart shapes already put into your heart shape and they're pinned down. If so, just bend them up, pop them out. One of them is going to have a picture on it and one is just going to be white cardboard. You're going to need a pencil to do some light drawing. You're going to have a little cup of glue and a craft stick. You're going to have some paint, some blue, white, and yellow. You're going to have some shells to give it that beachy look. You're going to have, I put my little gems on this just so you could see little gems. They were in a bag for you, I'm sure. You're going to need a paintbrush that I gave you with a little water cup so you can clean your brush between colors. And sand. I have some sand here in a cup. Yours is probably in a bag. And the other thing I would just say is have something to cover your surface, like I have some paper towels here so that when you do your sand, you can easily pick it up and collect it and put it back in the cup. So now that we've gone over the supplies, we're going to go over and move on to the first step in the next video. I'll see you soon. Okay, in the first step for our project, we're going to position the heart back in here. You're going to make sure that the white side of the second piece of cardboard, the one that I cut out for you, is facing forward. Doesn't matter. You could have the fake photo, as I call it, in the back, or not have it show at all. And I'm just going to pin it back into place like this and flip my frame over. So now it looks like I have a frame with a white heart. Now the first thing we're going to do is establish this little sunset in our picture, and that's where your pencil is going to come in handy. So you're going to want to, about midway, I'd say about midway through the heart, you're going to start with the wood, and you're just going to pretend this is water, and this is just a bumpy water line going across. So if you look here, I just did it very lightly, goes onto the heart, starts at the wood, goes across, comes over here. Now, on top of that water line right here in the middle, we're going to do a little rising sun. It's actually sunrise, not sunset. So we're going to do that and put it right here. And again, just a little bit of drawing we need. And then down below the water, we're going to create a little beach. So we're going to start right here, go across again the part of the picture that's in the heart, and then we're just going to continue it like it's a little beachy scene down here. So sand, water, sky. Now next we're just going to draw in some simple sun rays. So I'm going to start right here at the edge of my sun, and I'm just doing some little rays that are going to project out from the sunrise, like that. And I'm going to continue doing as many rays as I think will fit. Right here. And I'm going to go start tilting it a little the other way now. Pencil shows up a little bit better on the wood than it does the cardboard, but that's all right. I think I can fit two more. So it's like the sunrise is bursting out of the heart shape into the frame itself. And I'm going to have one more that's really going to go across my frame like that. So that is my sunrise. I've penciled it in. I'm going to give you a chance to finish penciling yours in, and I'll see you back here in a couple minutes where we'll start with the sand and the shells and then move on to the painting. See you soon. And we're back. So for the next step, now that we have our basic imagery drawn in for our picture, and of course, you know, if you want to do something different, that's okay. But for this project, this is our basic imagery and inspired by Roy Lichtenstein's sunrise picture, which I showed you earlier. And what we're going to do first is we're going to block in the sandy beach at the bottom of the picture. So this is where you're going to need your glue and a craft stick. Mine's maybe more of a tongue depressor. Yours might be a little skinnier, but they both work fine. Scoop out some glue. This is tacky glue, so it's a little on the thick side, but thicker glue I feel is better for these kind of projects. It really grabs hold of the sand and the shells and makes a much better project overall. You might even have leftover glue in the end, and just understand that the glue will dry clear even though it's white now, so you don't have to worry about white glue showing afterwards. I want you to be very careful to get glue all the way to the edges of your frame, here, here, and also over here. Then I only have a little area that I need to have glue in on the inside of the heart, but I'm going to make sure I fill that up as well, because that too is going to be filled with sand. So I want to make sure I fill that whole shape as small as yours might be larger than mine. It doesn't have to be. Maybe you want to have more sand in that portion of your picture. That's okay if that's the case. So I'm going to put this here, make sure I have enough sand. Looks like I do. I'm using the stick to get any extra glue off. Now, before we put the sand on, I want you to find your shells and figure out how many you want to put to make it look like a little sandy beach. I'm just going to sort of randomly put them in, and having slightly thicker glue, I must say, will give you a better result. That's why I put my glue on rather thick. And I'm just going to put whatever I have into my glue. Well, this is an interesting one, isn't it? It's kind of broken, but I like it. I'll put it right here, okay? Now that I have my shells attached, oh, I think I have one more here I could put in. Maybe I'll leave it out. Welcome back. So your frame should be finished with the sand and shell treatment that we just did. Next, you're going to need your paint, so you might want to pop all three lids open. You're going to need your cup of water and paintbrush. And, you know, if you have a paper towel like we have our work on right here to dry your brush on, that would be good. I also can recommend just using a little sponge. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to take some of my blue, and I'm just going to create a little ocean feel with waves. Now it looks pretty flat, but I like to put the blue on first. Careful if you get it into your sand like I just did. I'll just cover that up with a little glue later. I just want to fill in that shape, make it look a little bit splashy, like a little ocean wave. And then I'm going to come over here, make that a little bit splashy. And here I do want to paint the inside of the frame, whatever color I see here. So I see a little blue. I'm not going to worry so much about the sand part, but I definitely want to get the blue feeling like a little oceany part. I'm going to go over that a little bit. And I'm going to come over here to the other side, and I'm going to finish with the blue. So you're going to end up with a blue strip of water. Now, to give it a little bit more of that ocean feel, I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going to dip right into the white, and I'm just going to start dragging my brush lightly through the blue to create a feeling of little waves, little choppiness, maybe a little cap on the water there, a little waves in here too, again. And you're kind of blending it into the blue, but you're also taking advantage of letting that feel like little movement within your waves. The other thing I like to do, since the water is coming towards the sand, is I like to take a little bit of my white and just sort of dab it right near the edge of the sand. That gives it the illusion of foam. Little foam coming up on your water waves here as it touches the sand. You could have it go back a little, and it gives it that sort of water coming onto the beach feel, like that. Yeah, just a little water foaming up as it comes to the shoreline, like this. Perfect. So it's looking good already, isn't it? So I think I would like to continue with the blue and wait to add the yellow till afterwards. So in the next video, I'm going to let you put in your water, put in your waves, add your little foam if you want. We will tackle the sky, and then we'll get back into the sunset and some decorative gems. See you soon. Welcome back. So as I said, we're going to get into the sky now. In this case, I'm actually going to start with white. I'm going to put white into the sky because you know what? Can you see what's happening as these blue dots blend with my white? I want the white to lighten the sky color. So I'm using it as sort of a base color before I add the blue. So I'm going to get in here, put a little white here, here, because these are where my rays. Now don't get mixed up. Figure out which ones are your rays and which one is your sky, because it can get confusing sometimes when you have a striped pattern. So think of this as the natural wood is your ray, and the white you add is your sky. Right here. And go back inside. Also adding that white on the edges. And here. And here. Here. Again, that's telling me that sky. Here. And you know, even I fumble once in a while. So, whoops, that was supposed to be a ray. But no, this is coming along the way I want it to right now. And then I end on white again for the sky. Now again, while it's still wet, I'm just going to put the tiniest tip of blue on my brush so I can just lightly, I want a super light sky. I don't want it to be as dark as the water, so I'm going to make it very, very light blue. And I'm just mixing that blue in directly with the wet white paint to keep it really crisp and light. And I'll do the same down here. Crisp and light. And I could always touch it up with a little more blue down there later. And again, I want to try to work with a little speed because I don't want my white paint to dry while I'm doing this. I want it to stay wet. And if I get too much blue, I can always go back and tamp it down with a little bit of extra white like I did on this bit of sky right here. Like that. And I want you to continue just adding, dragging that light blue through the white and then touching up with more white as needed. Finish all your blue sky elements, and when you come back, we will go ahead and do the rays for your sun. Have fun, and I'll see you soon with my blue sky portions finished. And here we are back again. So, beautiful sky. We can always touch it up, make it lighter, make it brighter as we wish. I kind of like that whiteness over here on this one side, so I'm going to leave it for now and then determine if I want to change it later. I'm drying my brush. It's nice and clean. Now I'm going to go in with some beautiful bright yellow. And you know, I actually like to add a little bit of white to brighten my yellow. And when you're adding white to a color, you're tinting it. And tinting is to lighten. Just some little art words for you. Tinting is lightening. Shading, which would be the polar opposite, meaning adding black, is darkening. And then you have tone, which is adding a gray. Tint, shade, and tone, okay? So I'm getting my beautiful bright yellow in here, like so. This beautiful yellow rays, which really pop beautifully against the blue sky here. And you know, if you get a little bit in there and you say, oh, that wasn't what I wanted, just wipe it off. Wipe it off with your finger, clean your brush, get back in there with a little white and blue, and just touch it up. Just touch it up. And I can say, oh, I really wanted more blue there. Take a little bit of blue. You should have enough blue and white to finish this project without a problem, because I'm using the same amount I gave you. So no need to worry about that. Okay, and I'm going to continue with my yellow right here. Lovely little burst of sun rays. And I just like to use the tip of the brush when I'm doing something like this. So I'm just using the tip of my brush to make the rays. As I said, I might go back in and add some white to brighten up a couple of the rays. I feel like this one's a little dark, so I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm just going to snap that into brightness. That worked beautifully. Same with this one. It feels a little bit, you know why? It's because it's on cardboard versus the wood. So different surfaces will give you different finishes. So you might need to, you know, brighten it, darken it, whatever it takes to bring the yellow to the color that you want. And then I'm going to go back and again touch up a few areas, probably brighten the little dome for the sunrise here. I'm going to go in here. I feel like I lost part of my sky here and here. Just going in and touching up a few things, trying to let that white work with the blue as I add it and expand it out like this. And here. And maybe just a little more white in there to lighten it, like that. That worked pretty well. And then again, I'm just going to touch up some yellows, and then I'm going to stop there and give you time to get yours where you want it. And I'll join you back here for some little decorative elements that we're going to add on top of our frame. See you soon. Have fun. All right, so rays are in, water, sand, sky is in. Now here's another way to just bring out the beauty and the focus on the heart. What we're gonna do is take, the same way we did that stippling with the white, we're just gonna take some blue and we're gonna stipple around the edge of the heart, meaning that we're just taking the tip of the brush and sort of tapping it. And what we're doing with that is we're bringing attention to the outline of a heart. And by doing that, we're creating a focal point for the picture. We're saying, oh, zoom in on that sunset. And we're going to add some more details regarding that in a few minutes. And you can, yes, stipple right on top of that wet sand. It's not going to be a problem. And again, we're just drawing attention to the sunrise, not the sunset, as I said a moment ago, by using our blue to say, look here, focal point. Isn't that pretty? And it also breaks up the big rectangle in the picture. Now, with that in place, this is a fun time to go back and use your glue to add some little gems, and I'm just going to put little drops, and I'm not really worried about the drops being too big with my craft stick because I know that the glue is going to dry clear, so I'm not too concerned if it looks like a white blob right now. Here and here, a little more there. So I'm going to start with the rays, and I'm just going to pick out some really fun colors. They don't necessarily have to do with yellow. Ooh, that pop. And I'm going to maybe do a red one, kind of sticking with the warm colors here. And I'll go for a pink one. And let's do another yellow one. I like that amber kind of color. And we'll go for another pink one, a lighter pink this time. And we'll use one more yellow. Now you probably have more gems than I do. I had to scrounge around for a few. But now those are on. Those look really terrific. And now what I like to do is just sort of sprinkle some gems in the sky area too. So I'm going to just put some random glue dots where I think I'd like to put a gem. Oh, I think I have room for a few over here because I have a big, nice wide area there. And again, I'm just going to randomly stick down some fun gems. I have a purple one, a pink one. Here's a big bold red one. Whoops, dropped it. Like that. That's fun. Here's another pink one. Here's a, whoa, that wasn't swift. Let's try that again. Here's a dark green one. And I think I'll put another pink one here. Another green one there. And that looks really good. I love that. And the other thing I want to do is, I did this, you can do this two ways. You can do this with a black marker, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, I already have this blue paint. I'm going to take, again, dry my brush really well. I'm going to take just the tip of my blue paint, and I'm just going to add a little outline along the edge of the rays. Why? Because I want them to pop. I want them to stand out. Now, normally, like I said, I could also do this with a black marker when the paint was dry, but I want to do it now just to emphasize those fun rays that are so prevalent in pop art, the kind of dark outlining. So it's turning a little bit green because the yellow is wet. So if you want to wait for it to dry, you can do it later. Or you could use a black marker, which I have typically done. So this is something different I'm trying, but I kind of like it. But I like trying different things because then I learn, oh, I don't like it, or wow, I really do like it, and I wouldn't have known unless I had tried. It's like when your friend says, oh, you should come to this game to me. Oh, I really don't like games. And you go over there and you have the best time. You say, why was I thinking I wasn't going to like this? And now I love it. Or you meet a new friend and you're like, that is the nicest person I have met in a long time. I can't wait to see them again. We'll go out and have fun together. And I'm so glad I went because I would not have met them. So that's a nice reason why it's good to change things up, try new things. You never know. So this is changing it up from the typical thing I do. And again, just using the tip of the brush, that tiny tip right there to draw with. Because if you try to use the whole brush, you're gonna get a fat line, and that's probably not what you're after for this image. I'm just gonna put some blue there. And that, my friends, is it. Now, if you want to again put some little white caps in there by taking your brush and just doing, you know, a few little white caps to kind of show off the water. It's always easy to go back and add a few details, but I think that looks super. You're going to have a little dowel, a little wooden dowel, that's going to go, if I can carefully turn this over, back here, there's a hole. That little dowel, which I didn't mention before, is going to be the way you stand this up, but I would let it dry flat overnight before you try to stand it up so that you do not lose any of your gems or your shells or sand. Okay, I'll see you in a minute to conclude the class. How did it turn out for you? Don't you love the beautiful sand texture, the shells, the pop art style of the sunrise, and the simple painting and gluing techniques we used? Well, don't forget that there's a little dowel that goes in the back of your work so you can stand it up very easily. But I hope you had fun with this project today. This is Doris Funcher of Library Arts. If I don't see you soon, stay well, be creative, and I really do want to see you in my next program. Take care.